Hey, 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 hey. Hey, everybody, it's MsTonya. MsTonya is back with you. It's Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I hope that you did because I certainly did. I got to let you guys know that it was my birthday weekend. Saturday was my birthday. So your girl was celebrating. Had a very, very wonderful day. Got to be around a lot of good people that I loved. I actually did a little bit of work on my birthday, but I got to be honest, when you do what you love, it doesn't really feel like work. So I didn't feel it so much. I was around some good people, so that was good. The kiddies took me out to dinner, took me to my favorite little restaurant downtown, and we celebrated in a real cool way. And believe it or not, I did everything that I needed to do. I had my cake. My mom brought me cake. I had balloons. I had all of the things. And I was back home and in my bed by 8:30. Like a real old lady, like how my age really says. But I feel good. And I'm glad to be back here with you guys. Today is Make It Make Sense Monday. It's the Noontime My Time podcast. I am MsTonya. I am your host. And today we're going to be talking about something that I really feel like we need to discuss. We should. It's a good time for us to talk about it. And we need to make it make sense. We need to decode failure. We need to find out what the meaning of it is. We need to make it make sense. So we're decoding failure and finding meaning. Yes, absolutely. We're going to unravel all of these complexities of failure and discover how we can embrace our failures. We need to be able to do that. We're going to dive into figuring out what's working for us. Is it teaching us something? We can have a thought-provoking conversation with this subject matter. We really, really can. But before we get into that, you guys come on in here. Let me know where you're from. I want to know where you're from. Let me know. I see Miss Tori in the building. You know where Miss Tori is from. Oh, yeah, she's from D-Town. And she says, hope you enjoyed your birthday weekend. Well, I did. I had a very good time. And yes, it's not work when you love what you do. And I absolutely love what I do. So she's saying wow. She's saying wow to the topic, right? Because your topic is what was on my mind. Was it really? Well, you know what they say. They say great minds think alike. So we got some stuff that we can talk about. But before we get into the topic, before we dive too deep into the conversation, you know what we got to do? We got to do a little breath work because we got to reclaim our time. We got to take that little bit of time and give ourselves a little bit of self-love, do a little decompression. It's lunchtime. You don't want to eat with heavy things on your mind. Relax a little bit. Relax. You know, if anybody kind of got under your skin already on this Monday morning, shake that off. All right? Shake it off with me. Noontime My Time podcast. It's time for us to, time for us to breathe. Y'all ready? What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. And I want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your headpods on, and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Didn't that feel great? It feels so good. Feels real, real good. Guys, before we get into the conversation, and I'm going to let you know what the conversation is about again. I got to let you know, we are talking about failure. We're making it make sense. We are decoding failure and finding the meaning. Let us explore the power of failure on our personal and professional development. This is going to be a great conversation, guys. I want you to share with me. I got a few questions that I want to ask for you. I want us to learn how to embrace failure as a catalyst for our growth. We can unravel this. Together we can talk about some of the lessons that we've learned. How we've been able to build some resilience. You understand what I'm saying? We need to be talking about it. Because let me tell you something. I do a lot of things. A whole lot of things. And I have many skills because I have so many interests. And I'm good at a number of things. But I got to tell you something. I failed at a lot of things. And I learned that I was not so good. I was not so good at a whole lot of other things. But that was okay with me. And it is okay. As a matter of fact, when people ask me what I do, I typically don't really answer that question because I don't really want to put myself in a box, and I don't really feel that I fit in a particular box. I feel like, it's not about what I do, it's about who I am, and I'm me. I'm MsTonya. I'm a mother. And what I do is I do some podcasting. I'm a content creator. And it's an interesting thing to do because for me, just like every mother who would probably get on your last nerve, I give some advice. Some advice that you didn't even ask for. And you could very well be trying to figure out, oh boy, here she is again. Just like your mama, always saying something, always got something to say. Well, I do. Because I think it's important. I really feel like conversations matter. And I know it. I could be telling you something that you don't want to hear. I could be bringing up something that you've heard, before. That's what mamas do. They keep drilling that thing in your head. They keep doing it. They keep telling you that thing over and over. They want you to get it. But what I do want you guys to keep in mind, and I'm telling you this, I am a mother. And anything that you hear on my podcast is strictly for entertainment purposes, even if it sounds like something that might make sense to you. I am not a replacement for professional, medical, or psychological treatment. Let's get that clear. I got to let you guys know. I think you know it, but I need to say it. I'm just giving you some advice. I'm just doing what mamas do, dipping in where you might not even have asked for help. But sometimes you need to hear that thing in the back of your head and you got to remember like, oh, that's what she meant. Oh, that's what she was talking about. But she's not giving you professional medical advice. She's not giving you psychological treatment. No, you got to get help when you need help. So make sure you do that, all right? And then we can have our conversations the way we need to have our conversations. Now let's talk about failure. Let's make it make sense. Because honestly, it really does. It makes a whole lot of sense. Failure is definitely a possibility. It will definitely happen in your life, throughout your journey. But failure is not the end of the story. It's not. It's come to teach you something. And you've got to ask the question, you've got to ask, what does it come to teach me? What is it here that I need to learn? Because we need to stop being scared. We need to stop being scared. And let me say this. Even if you are going to be a little afraid, if you're a little scared, that can be okay. It can really be okay. But you still need to get what you want to do done. You still put one foot in front of the other. You walk your path. Do that thing that you want to do. It doesn't matter how old you are. People out here thinking they can't do something. They feel like it's too late. They feel like their time of opportunity has passed. No, it hasn't. Because it's never too late. It's not going to be too late. It's not too late if you are alive. It's not too late if you can still think about it. If it's still on your mind, in the back of your mind, you can still do it. Do it now. You can reinvent yourself. Take it from me. I know. I do it all the time. Just as I told you guys, my birthday was on Saturday. I turned 54 years old. And this year, in March, I decided that I wanted to start this particular podcast. And I have been shying away from doing it for a long, long time. I really have, guys. And like I said, out of all of the things that I do, and I do quite a few things, this is one of the things that I wanted to do. And I had a little fear in there. I did. But I had to make myself do it. And I gave myself a little plan. I said, you know what? You need to do this because it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. You keep trying. You've been doing different things. You've had shows. You have another podcast, which is a good podcast. But I'm talking about this particular podcast that I'm doing right here, where I'm talking with you guys, where we kind of interact and talk on various subjects each day of the week. Take a little bit of time with ourselves, just an hour. Take that lunchtime and do something different with it, right? And I didn't know. I said, I want to do the breath work. Sounds a little wacky, sounds a little crazy. I want to do a podcast. I'm going to open it up and we're going to breathe. I'm thinking to myself, people are going to think that I lost my mind. And maybe they do. And I'm going to tell you something else too. Sometimes when I start the show, I'll see the numbers of people who are in. And when I get into the breath work, sometimes those numbers go down because there are people who are not there for it. But I couldn't let that stop me from doing it because it was something that I wanted to do. It made me feel good. And over the weekend, when I was out, I ran into a few people who listened to the podcast, and I'm very, very grateful. So I'm listening to what they have to say to me and giving me their comments and telling me how much they enjoy it. The fact that it comes on every day and they get a chance during their lunch break to just put their headpods in or their AirPods and take a listen. Be interactive if they choose to be. But something that really surprised me and shocked me is I got a couple people who they really like the breath work. I had one guy tell me like, hey, whatever you do, don't ever stop that breath work. He said, that is so needed. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He said, you have no idea. He said, by the time, that part of the day gets here, that's really needed. He said, I really enjoy it. And that really made me feel great. If nobody else said anything else to me the rest of the day about this podcast, well, I don't go out for people to tell me about the podcast anyway, but if nobody else said anything else, that would have been great. It was almost like a birthday gift to me, right? But did it stop there? No. I ran into someone else who talked about the podcast, how much they enjoyed it, thanked me for, bringing the podcast to everybody. And I was like, great, I really enjoy doing it. But here's the thing that shocked me once again. She has a toddler. I think she's like 2 or 3 years old, right? And she told me, MsTonya, she said, every time you get into the breath work, she's like, my daughter knows you now. And she recognizes your voice. And when you start doing the breath work, she's really excited to do it. And she does the breath work with you every day. I was like, wow. I just had to pinch myself. I'm like, am I just walking around in some type of birthday glee? What's going on here? But what I realized is I was doing it from an honest place. I was kind of fearful in the beginning, thinking like, hey, this could flop. This could fail miserably. But there's people out here who like it, and that's the best you can do. If you got somebody who like it and you like it and you're able to share with some good people, you keep doing it. So what if I decided not to? What if I let the fear stop me? I wouldn't be right here today. I started on March 1st. I challenged myself to do this for at least 3 months because I wanted to take it right into my birthday month, June 1st. Well, I made it through. Not only did I make it through, but we're right here today, June 5th, and I am on episode number 69. So thank you guys. Thank you for that. So I want us to talk about fear, and I want you to know, and I told you that and shared that with you so that you know that, yeah, people are afraid sometimes. Me too. But I didn't let it stop me. We got to put that one foot in front of the other. You got to walk your path. Do that thing that you want to do. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's not too late. You really can do it now. And be honest with yourself. Be honest about what you want to do. And figure out how to make that shit happen. Figure it out. You don't have to have everything lined up. Figure it out. Some things are not going to work out. Some people are going to tell you no. You're not going to have all of the support that you think you might want to have, and from who you think it should come from. You're not. But that's okay. You still have your dream, and it is your dream. And you need to be dreaming big. So dream and dream big, and then dream bigger. Stop thinking that you don't deserve an outrageous goal. You get to be outrageous with your dream. You can have an outrageous goal, right? You can. That goal that you have in the back of your mind, that you currently smothering with doubt, stop doing that to yourself. Stop it. And matter of fact, stop thinking that your dream or your goal is outrageous. Because it's probably not even outrageous enough. It probably isn't. And how are you going to have safe dreams? How do you have safe dreams? And does that even make sense? Does it make sense? You going to have safe dreams and still not go after them? Come on. Come on. We got to go for it. We got to go for the greater purpose. There are folks out here who would tell you no. They will. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Everything isn't going to just be easy, laid out in front of you. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be folks out here who are going to tell you no. And there's going to be folks who think you can't do it. Let them do their job. Let them do that and be who they are. Let them stand in that. But you can get what you want to get done. Go ahead. Go for it. Fail. Matter of fact, you need to hope that you fail, because there's something that you're going to learn. And when you see yourself failing and you see things not working out and you keep going, you should start feeling good, because you know you're getting closer to your wins. You're getting closer to them. So stop thinking that you missed the boat. Stop thinking it's too late. You think it's too late to start over. You think it's too late to change course. It's not. It's never too late. You're still alive. You think you're being too comfortable? Is that an issue? Are you being too comfortable? You got to ask yourself that. I ask myself that. Am I too comfortable? Well, I'm going to say this too. There's nothing wrong with comfort. You can be comfortable, but you still have to have dreams, and you still have to go after them. And how comfortable are you if you know you're limiting yourself? You know you're not going after that thing you want or what you want to do. Is that really a comfort? Is it? Those are the things we got to do. We need to be redefining what failure is and what failure personally means to you. So I'm going to ask you guys the question, and I've been here talking, but I want to get you in on the conversation. And I want to know how has failure changed your perception over things, and particularly as we grow older? How has your perception of failure evolved over time? What does failure mean to you? I'm going to go over to the comments and see who we got here in the comments, because I see they are coming through here a bit. All right. And see, Tori was very happy that we were having this conversation because she said, wow, she said the topic was on her mind. And so, great minds definitely think alike. See, Tori in here, she has a comment. She's also saying, keep trying, never give up. No. What are you giving up for? You're supposed to be getting better. If anything, or I put it like this, if nothing else, all of those failures to me, when I think about it, they're showing me that that's not the right way to do it. I maybe need to change a little something. Do this a little bit differently. That's what it means for me. I see Les Eccles here. How you doing, Les? Good to have you in the building. He said, create goals to move forward. You have to. You gotta create some goals. You gotta have goals. I don't ever want to be so comfortable that I can't be thinking about something else that I can do, something else that I can learn. And I'm certainly not going to let the fear of failure stop me from learning something else. Because if that was the case, nothing that I do currently would make any sense. I wouldn't know how to do any of it. I didn't go to school to learn any of this. I was self-motivated to learn it. I wanted to learn this. I didn't feel like I couldn't. I felt like I could. That's how we got to feel. We got to overcome that fear of failure. What kind of strategies do you guys take when you feel like you're going after something that you got that fear of failure for? What kind of strategies do you use when you feel like, I got to go after this? What do you do? How do you talk to yourself? What are some of the ways you encourage yourself to go forward? Because failure sometimes make a lot of people freeze and they don't get anything done. They get stuck in place, and that's not where you want to be. I see Les with a comment here. He said, failure isn't just I did bad or I'm not where I want to be in life. Failure can be something you personally deem as failure that may not be viewed as a failure. And that's okay. But you have to have a blueprint to move forward off of. I agree with that. Absolutely. Because really, you guys know this. We are our hardest critics. We're harder on ourselves than anyone else. And we think we failed at something because we're looking to be perfect. And it's not a failure. It's not a failure in other people's eyes. And not so much that it is about other people's eyes, but what you're considering a failure isn't a failure. Like you were brave enough to try. You were brave enough to move forward. And that's important. Failure offers a lot of lessons. I see Amina here in the building. How you doing, Amina? Good to have you here. She says, I think failure is subjective and is somewhat only as real as you allow it to be. As long as we are alive and have an opportunity to apply what we've learned, even from shortcomings, then we didn't fail. We just go a little closer to success and haven't achieved it yet. We just got a little closer to success and hadn't achieved it yet. Absolutely. I agree with this. Nobody's saying anything wrong. The thing that's wrong is if you allow that failure to put you in like fright, so much fright that you freeze. You don't want to do that. Because think about, especially people, anything that you do or anything that is your dream, it's important to go after it, to learn, to invest in yourself, do whatever it takes to get you closer to it. But when it comes to failure and creativity, right? How does failure fuel creativity and innovation? Anybody got any ideas about that? Can you share some examples of how failure has led to breakthroughs or any type of transformative experiences? What you guys going on out there? Because I'm going to tell you something. In this creative space for me, as it relates to content creation and now that we have this title for it that we didn't have in the past, because I've been doing this a long, long time, and I've done it so many different ways. And I failed at it many different ways. And it just taught me what I needed to do differently. You know, I learned from my mistakes, and I I like what both Les and Amina has said here. Failure is subjective, but if we want to look at how we did a certain thing, or how we just how we went about it, we still have to be honest with ourselves. I think it's important to look close enough to say, well, that didn't work for me. Maybe I should have done this, or maybe I should try it this way. You learn all of those things. And when you realize that it didn't take you out, you realize that you've got a little resilience. You got to embrace that. And that's why I feel like these conversations are important, because when we get an opportunity to share our stories with other individuals, we get to see that it's not just us. Everybody's had to come, or overcome, I should say. Everybody's had to overcome some type of failure. Everybody's been, has some type of blockage. Not most people, I'm getting ready to misspeak here, but everybody who has a success story has some kind of bounce back. Because you just don't sail through everything. That's not how life is. It's not going to be la, 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 la. No, it's not like that. So be proud that you're building some tough skin. You're learning what not to do, which is important. You're learning how not to do certain things, which is important. That's very, very key. Look at it that way. So I was asking you guys a few questions, and you get an opportunity to chime in. But have you ever experienced a significant failure in your life that you feel like impacted you in a way that it just made you change your total career plans or some type of life plans? Have you? Have you? And I guess that would also depend on how you define failure. I guess that would have a lot to do with it. But I just want to know what type, and I guess I'm asking that question because I'm trying to figure out, like, what kind of strategies can we share with people if they really are looking to cope with a certain failure, if they're really in a spot where they're down right now and they don't see the bounce back. Like, is there anything, or a few key tips, or just a word, or a good word that can help them feel a little bit of strength so that they can get to their bounce back? Like, how is it that you were able to maintain your positive mindset? How were you able to kind of, I guess what we say, save face? Any experiences like that for any of you guys? Because I've certainly had some. Like I said, I've had local TV shows that I've produced. I've spent money and invested money in putting them on air, and people will like them and people will get into them, and then I have to take them off air because I had to weigh whether or not it was being financially responsible for me. Like, I love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. But when I was doing all of the work and putting the finance, just being that one-man band, it was tough. It was tough. But there were a lot of things that I learned about it. I learned that, hey, and not only did I learn a lot of things, but technology also kind of changed and shifted, and we're now living in a internet space, and we all out in these internet streets, and people are putting content out in that type of way. And so I kind of readjusted how I wanted to bring my content out. And I realized, well, there's a space now. So I've got a distribution space. So how do I want to deliver this? How can I deliver this? What new things do I need to learn to take me into this new age of what is content creation? And how can I incorporate that with some of the things that I've done in the past, some of the things that I like to do within the community, some of the things that I just like in terms of personal conversation, whatever it is that I feel like I could bring and tie that all up together and make this show and let that be the Noontime, My Time podcast. I went through a lot. I did. Because still, you got to think about when you want to do certain things, you've got to have the equipment to do it. And I think that stops a lot of people from doing things. You got to invest in yourself, but I want to tell you, you got to use what you have. You got to use what you have and invest in yourself along the way. And that's going to be with anything that you do. I see Amina here with a comment. She says, yes, failure helps us to become resilient. And resilience is an essential part of life. Being able to bend but not break and keep going beyond adversity. When we internalize failure too much, we live in a hopeless life. It makes you want to quit everything. That's right. It does. That's why it's important for us to realize there's lessons for us to learn. You got to look at that and say, what is in this that is helping me? Because it's definitely helping you be stronger. And you should be learning from your missteps. Keep your faith, Victoria says, this is a very valuable conversation. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for being a part of it. That's what we try to do here. That's definitely the objective, because conversations matter. They do. And we got to find strategies for finding the meanings of what failure is for us. We should, because self-improvement, being better, living better is something that I feel like all of us want to do. So embrace a growth mindset. You've got to adopt that mindset that sees failure as an opportunity for growth and learning. View those setbacks as temporary obstacles rather than permanent failures. Focus on those lessons. Focus on the insights that failures provide. That's something that you can put in your little bag of strategies to help you through what you feel like is your failure or your downtime. Reflect and learn. Take that time. Take the moment that you need and reflect on failure and identify what went wrong. So that means you got to be honest. That means you got to sit down. That means you have to reflect. That's why writing is important. That's why I encourage people to journal. When you wake up in the morning, write down some goals. Write something down every morning. Write it down. Put it in word. In the beginning was the word. And look at what has developed. Look at where we are now. Believe that. Do that. Create. So take time and reflect. Identify what went wrong and why. Be honest with yourself. What can you learn from the experience? Analyze your actions. Analyze your decisions and the mindset that led up to the failure. Use the whole experience as a self-reflection. Let that be a foundation for some type, that's the lesson. Let that be the foundation of building what you want to succeed at. And let that be the foundation for personal development. And set realistic expectations. Yeah, we have dreams. And I said this. I said, sometimes I think our dreams aren't big enough. But even within that big dream, we still got to live life here and be a little bit realistic. You got to understand that failure is a natural part of your journey. So when you're setting your goals and you're having certain expectations, set some realistic expectations for yourself. Acknowledge that setbacks and failures are stepping stones. Those are the stepping stones on the path to improvement. Embrace the whole process rather than just being fixated on the end result and thinking like, okay, this crashed, this bombed. I won't do this again. Some things you're going to have to do again. Some things you're going to have to do more than twice, more than 3 times, 4 times. And if it's what you want, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try again? That's what cultivating resilience is about. That's what developing that resilience is about, is that bounce back. Build up a support system. Have your network of friends, your families, your mentors, those people who can provide encouragement for you, people who are going to give you a little perspective. Ask the people around you how they feel about some of the things that you're doing. And tell them that you really, and if there are people who love you and who care about you, I would imagine that they're giving you their honest perspective. But you got to be willing to take it. You can't be that type of person who won't be willing to take it, because if you are, then you're not going to have people who are going to want to give that to you. So during those challenging times, you have the encouragement of people around you, but you still get to ask where you can improve. There's nothing wrong with that. Engage in some self-care activities. Stuff like this is what I feel like are important. That's why I feel like the breath work. You guys can meditate, exercise. You've got hobbies, do things that you like, some type of sport, But do something that is going to help you maintain some type of emotional well-being. That's what you need. That's what we need for growth. And I'm always seeking any opportunity that I can take for growth. I like it. I like to look for ways to turn my failures into a different opportunity. Because I know that there's a lesson in there. I know that I can improve. Because that is the lesson. You backtrack and look at what you did. Identify those specific areas where you can develop maybe a new skill. Or maybe get somebody else to do that if that's just not one of your, one of the key things, or something that you feel like you're going to be good at, or that you don't really like doing, because there are some things that we don't like to do. But you got to ask yourself, am I being lazy, or is this just above my what am I looking for here? This is just not my thing. I don't get it. I've been trying to get it, but I don't get it. Well, then if you can't do it, you got to look for someone who can. That means you need to get your team. You got to build your team. Doesn't mean that the people around you that got you to where you are weren't good people, but maybe you've grown beyond how they can help you. And so you got to get somebody else. So look at those opportunities and seek those opportunities for growth, and turn those failures into some opportunities to improve, or identify where you need to delegate some different skills, or delegate some you guys know what I'm trying to say. You got to delegate. And also, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. You out here supporting people. You always, trying to cheer everyone else on and let them know that they can do it. You might have kids. You're trying to let them know that they can do anything that they want to do. But you're not even doing that for yourself. You so hard on yourself. So what I'm saying is practice some self-compassion. You out here being nice and kind to everybody else. Why don't you be kind to yourself? And especially when you're experiencing failure. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with the same empathy and the same understanding that you would offer a friend. Because you know that failure is common. We're human. It's a part of the human experience. But that failure doesn't define your worth. And that failure certainly doesn't define your potential. You got to be able to know how to adapt. You got to be able to know how to pivot. Use those failures as an opportunity to reassess your goals, reassess your strategies, get you some new methods. Be open to a new approach. Be open to taking an alternative path. There's several ways to reach a goal. There's several ways to reach a destination. It's more than one path. So maybe you need to try a different one. And failure definitely provides that type of valuable feedback. But that's only if you're going to be honest with yourself. So be honest with yourself. I see Kawana James here in the building. She says, teaching wisdom. We're here sharing. We're here sharing. That's what it's about. Conversation matters. Sometimes we need to hear something to spark something in our mind to kind of get us on track or make us feel good or let us know like, hey, it's not just me. Somebody else is feeling this. And you never know. Something could inspire you to make you feel a little better and make you try a little harder. And don't just look at the failing parts, because something had to have been progressive. Something had to have worked out. There's some little pieces of this thing that has worked. And you got to be able to recognize that too. So you got to recognize and you've got to celebrate your progress. Celebrate the progress you make, even in the face of the failures. Focus on your small wins. You're going to have small wins along the way. You can celebrate those. Acknowledge that growth is important and improvement is important, but you still can celebrate the small wins. And you also know something from failure. You know what you need to practice. You know what you need to practice. You do. So while you're celebrating those small wins, practice some positive self-talk. That's a little strategy of something that you can use when you're in the mix of things feeling like they're all going wrong. You feel like you're messing up. You feel like it's too late. You feel like you can't do it. You're giving all of the excuses to the failure. All of them. Don't do it. Practice a little bit of self-talk. Replace some of that negative self-talk with positive affirmations, some type of encouraging statements. Listen to somebody who has something good to say. Reframe that failure. Reframe it. Use it as a stepping stone. You got to believe in your ability. You got to believe in your ability to learn. We have a brain. We got opportunity. You might not learn at the same pace as someone else, but you certainly have an opportunity to learn. So believe in your ability to learn. Believe in your ability to grow. Believe in your ability to overcome challenges. Because we can. We can. So stay determined. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you to stay determined and I want you to stay committed to your goals despite the setbacks. Guys, I've had so many setbacks and I'll probably have some more. I don't know what they are. I'm not inviting them, but I'm not running from them. I know what they're here for. I know why they're there and I'm going to use them. I'm going to use those failures as some fuel so that I can keep pushing, so that I can keep moving forward. Just remember that there's a lot of successful people, a lot of successful individuals out here, and every day they encounter failures. The most successful people and the most successful business people are just handling failures all day, correcting and making things right to keep the ship sailing. So don't think that you can't fail, and don't think that it's over. It's part of the journey. You just got to be persistent. You got to recognize your resilience. Okay? All right, guys. That's what I got to share with you today, and I hope that you will remember that the meaning in failure is really about your personal journey, and it's different for everyone. There's different strategies that are going to resonate with different people. But if there's something that you heard that can make you continue in your process of going after that dream, you go after it. Because I don't want to hear the excuses of, I'm too old. It's too late. People are doing things in all types of later times in their life. You can do it in your 50s, your 60s, whatever it is. You can. All right? Before we get out of here, guys, you know what I want to do? I want to tell you guys, thank you for joining me today. I'm always happy to have people who are rocking in here with me. It could have been a big fail if nobody was here and I had nobody to talk to. Could have been. But guess what? I wasn't going to take it as a failure. I wasn't. I was just going to present the information, and who heard it, heard it. And if it was one person, then it was that one person that helped. I wasn't going to let big numbers of people make me feel like it was a fail, because it's not. Oh no. It's just a setup for the win. And I know that. All right. I love you guys tuning in to the Noontime My Time podcast, weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live stream. You get to join the conversation. You are the conversation. I'm MsTonya. I'm just your host. I'm just here sparking. I'm sparking the conversation, facilitating and moderating it, however you want to say it. But that's what I do. That's what I do. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I do. Make it make sense. Make whatever it is that you're going through right now, make it make sense. It might be hard. I'm not going to say that it's not. It probably is. You might feel like you're drowning, but your head is above water. It is. Somebody coming to help you. Or you might just get that extra push and jump on out of there. You know? All right? Before you get back on that work clock, before you finish with your lunch break, I want you to kind of breathe this conversation on now. Receive it. Receive it. Now let's do a little breath work. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. All right? Y'all be great out here. It's what we do. One love, y'all.